Questa puntata di Dopo il TG è offerta da Adria Italia.
And wow, we are here. Welcome to Dopo il TG with Andrew Jenkinson. That is my teacher, my goal. And Andrea Ranieri is here. Ciao, Andrew. Do you listen? Me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Because we have a little problem with the camera. Abbiamo un piccolo problema con la telecamera, però non importa. It doesn't matter because we are better than a problem. Siamo meglio di qualunque problema. Gigi Poli, ciao, hello. And Rani say, I am at Madrid airport. Wow, hasta la vista. Ole. Well, Andrew, you are the best journalist in Europe because you know everything about the history of the caravanning. Andrew, tu sei il miglior giornalista del settore perché sei quello che conosce meglio tutta la storia del settore. How many books did you write? Quanti libri hai venduto?
I've written 16, just finished the 17th, and I'm starting an 18th.
Wow! Ne ha scritti 16, ma sta per arrivare al 18esimo, quindi altri due. Well, I remember... oh, well, just a moment. Claudia e Andrea, ciao. I remember your book about the Caravans International History. Ricordo il tuo libro sulla Caravans International, sulla storia della Caravans International. For instance. Did you remember your book about Caravans International?
Yes. And I was very privileged to meet Sam Alper and know him for several years before he died.
Oh. Yes,
so he let me know a lot of things.
Because I ricordo che Caravans International, it was the biggest group all over the world. È stato il più grande gruppo a livello internazionale. Just a moment, Andrew. Caravan, perché no? Buonasera a tutti. Hello. Yes. E Lorita Puccetti said, puntata internazionale bilingue stasera. Ah, welcome Andrew, wrote Lorita Puccetti. Lorenzo Gnaccarini, grande Luca, hai fatto una cosa fantastica. Andrew in trasmissione, lo seguo sempre su YouTube. Lorenzo, a colleague mine, Andrew, wrote, it's a fantastic thing you are here. He listen always you on YouTube, like me.
Ciao, you have more subscribers.
Oh, well, no, because your YouTube channel, it's great. It's great because it helps us to understand how it works the world. Because remember, dicevo che il suo canale YouTube è importantissimo because this market, a caravanning market, was born in England, was born in UK.
Yes, it was. And
yeah,
by the Ettles were the first commercial caravan manufacturer in the world.
yeah, that's why. Perché appunto, quindi you are the history of the of this market. And by the way, oh, just a moment, Federica. Ciao, Federica. By the way, do you prefer our market now on in the past? Preferisci il nostro settore adesso o nel passato?
I think it was better many years ago. There was more
really?
happening. More happening. Lots of different things.
Maybe with a lot of idea of fantasy, magari con molte idee, molta fantasia. What do you think about it?
I think the industry has changed dramatically, especially in the UK. We have lost a lot of our tourer manufacturers. The holiday home static caravan market is still like the tourer market was back in the 80s and early and mid 70s.
Mm-hmm.
But
well,
sorry.
And Lorenzo, Lorenzo wrote, hello, Andrew. I'm very happy to listen to you. I'm your fan. And Mirko wrote, he is reading your books in English, little by little, step by step. This is, you see?
Thank you very much.
Grande Mirko, bravo!
Thank you very much.
No, as I told you, come ti ho detto, you are very popular in Italy. Sei molto popolare.
Thank you. Thank you. Amazing. Amazing.
Now, do you know my dream? Sai qual è il mio sogno?
Go on. What is your dream?
Well, I have two dreams. The first one, allora, io ho due sogni. The first one, to come to visit UK, venire a visitare la Gran Bretagna and to meet you. So we can have an interview directly, face to face.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
The second is to translate your books in Italian.
Yes.
Really? No, because it's crazy, è folle. People look Caravans International Motorhome and think that it was an Italian brand about a French group. È folle che la gente pensa che la Caravans International sia un marchio italiano di un gruppo francese, when it was the biggest one. Oh, about Sprite. Sprite is not a product by Coca-Cola, but it's even one of the most important brand in our market. Aren't you? What do you think about it?
Yes, Caravans International was formed in 1963 by Bluebird and Sprite merging. And from there on, in the 60s, they literally expanded, buying other companies in the UK and abroad. So Wilk and Stern in Germany, and then opening factories in Italy, Sweden, Germany, even in the US at one stage.
Yeah.
And New Zealand and South Africa. They were giants of the industry.
And that's crazy. We have lost the memory. È folle che noi abbiamo perso la memoria.
Yes, what I'm trying to do with the books is to keep the memory of the whole industry alive. Here in the UK, it's just a shame that we don't actually celebrate that heritage. Manufacturers, very few. I'm a lone voice.
Well, really, è vero. Lui dice che è una voce solitaria. You are right. You are a lone voice. A lone voice. That's true. Ivan Piera, good evening. Ciao Ivan. E Angela Besutti. Buonasera a tutti. Ciao Angela. Hello. And people, what the people say about your work?
Here in the UK?
Yeah.
Some admire it, others aren't bothered. They just think I'm a bit eccentric.
Ah, okay.
Which I am.
Yes, of course. Certo, che eccentrico l'abbiamo capito, però. Well, do you think it's dangerous to remember the past? Credi che sia pericoloso ricordare il passato?
No, I don't. I think we've got to learn a lot from the past. And unfortunately, manufacturers in the UK have never taken heed of the market, how it's ducked and dived and gone up and down. They've some of them got complacent and they've lost the market and then gone out of business.
Yeah, that's true. Ciao Cristina, and our fan. Andrew, what do you think about the motorhome market? Do you believe that motorhomes are the big killer about caravans, or that they are another type of caravaning? Pensi che i camper siano loro che uccideranno il caravan, o pensi che sia un altro mercato?
Motorhomes have been around longer than the caravan, and motorhomes died of death by the late 20s and only re-emerged in the 50s because of the new small delivery vans like the VW Combi, and then in the UK the Ford Thames, the Bedford. They gave early motorhome and camper van manufacturers a base of which to design a motor caravan or stroke basically motorhome. That market in the UK in 1960s, in the 60s, the Caravan Club did not want motorhomes. It was in 1967, under lots of pressure, that they actually let motorhome owners in. Motorhome owners were seen as being strange.
Okay. And Andrea, oh, well, by the way, directly from Malta, Clavia Magri. Hello to all. Ciao, Clavia. Ciao. And Andrea from Madrid Airport wrote, Andrew, what do you think about all the technology that we find now on caravans and motorhomes?
Old technology or new? Sorry, Luke, I didn't quite get that.
Okay, what do you think about all the technologies we find on caravans and motorhomes?
Ah, right. Some years ago, I did a feature for Practical Caravan magazine, the biggest UK magazine, on such a thing, and much of the construction that we use today has been tried before. in lots of ways back in the 60s. But the technology then wasn't good enough to carry on with that idea. So Eldest Caravans, which is Erwin-Heimer, of course, they use adhesives to put the sides on to the chassis, onto the floors by Heinkel. That idea was tried and used back in 1977 by Dormobile, the camper van motorhome manufacturers, in their trailer caravans in 1977, 78, 79, 80. They use that same idea. So that idea has been tried before.
Wow.
I could go on, Luca, but time and I don't want to bore your listeners.
Well, I'm not very happy when I listen in Germany that Westphalia was the first one to build camper van. Io non sono molto contento quando qualcuno in Germania dice che Westphalia è stata la prima a costruire furgonati, because Dormobile for 6 months maybe it was the first one.
Dormobile began experimenting in the early 50s with a vehicle called, I think it was a Standard Triumph estate car, and they converted literally the seats to go into a bed, and that was the very sort of basics of that. VW, the Westphalia did the I think they called it the toolbox. I think I might not be right there, but they produced it in 1952 with the seats and a kitchen, and that idea that was then copied in the UK very quickly by a guy called Peter Pitt, who did the same using a VW, but also they started to use Ford Thames, and from that, the UK, several manufacturers started to make camper vans, and then motorhomes, coach-built bodies, by about 1957. And the first ones were called Paralian. They were made in Yorkshire. We shall see in the next book out at the end of this year, which is a visual history of the motorhome.
Ok, grazie. Grazie. E io volevo chiederti anche, I would like to tell you another thing, un'altra cosa. How you see the future of the caravaning? Come vedi il futuro del mercato?
I got concerns about the caravan. Electric cars, electric vehicles, their small towing capabilities. Here in the UK, prices have shot up dramatically, making caravans now become less affordable than they ever have been. And I think this and the shrinking market in the UK means there'll be no new manufacturers starting the UK. I can't see that happening ever again, which is a big shame.
Yeah.
So I think motorhomes, yes, they're very popular. A lot of people have this dream of the RV, of just being able to drift off into the sunset. And caravans are seen as the poorer relation, I think, and we know that's not true.
And about the journalism, a proposito di giornalisti, did you see a young Andrew Jenkinson in UK or it's so difficult to grow up? A proposito di giornalismo, tu vedi un nuovo Andrew Jenkinson in Gran Bretagna oppure è difficile crescere?
When I was growing up in the UK, when I've been growing up, I started following the caravan industry when I was 10. And that started around 1969, 70, 71. And it was very, very buoyant. Many manufacturers in the UK were supplying most of Europe, especially, as we say, Caravans International, but also people like Astral Caravans, which was a big hull manufacturer, A-Line, and then eventually Ace Caravans, which became ABI Caravans Group. They had huge export markets, and the new models that were coming out were so exciting. Some manufacturers would last 6 months, some would be a year or two and then go to the wall. There was around about 30 to 40 different manufacturers in the early 70s in the UK. Imported makes never could really get a foothold.
Wow. Well, Daniele, well, would like to know from Mr. Andrew, vuol sapere Mr. Andrew, about the MOT. For caravans and motorhome, the MOT is every 2 years, 4 years, or how many? Ogni quanto si sottopongono i veicoli, caravan e camper alla revisione? Prego.
Of course, in the UK, no MOT is required for a caravan.
Okay.
It is for a motorhome. There was about 20 years, well, 25 years ago, there was a couple of people trying to drive an MOT for caravans, but there was a lot of opposition against it because a lot saw that this was a way dealers could say your caravan needs to be scrapped, you need to buy a new one.
Okay.
So there was an ulterior motive behind the dealerships, and I don't think the UK government really want to get involved in such a thing, to be quite honest. There's not the accidents caused with caravans, apart from odd ones, obviously, when they get into a snake or something like that, or the wind blows them over. There's not a lot of caravan accidents here in the UK. It's not rare, but it's not. Okay. Don't get a lot of it. So no MOT.
No MOT. Bene. No, you're lucky. Mirko, well, Mirko is reading your books, but in the meanwhile, in the meanwhile, he is writing a question for you. Dicevo che Mirko, mentre legge i suoi libri, devo fare una domanda. The question is, do you find caravans or motorhomes in the TV spot?
In the TV?
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't quite understand that question, Luca. Sorry.
Well, because in Italy, we don't find caravans or motorhome on TV.
Oh, right.
Without the advertisement, the spot on TV. So,
okay.
How is the situation in UK? It looks like in Italy or no?
In UK, I've appeared in 1 or 2 programs of caravanning, but in the UK they tend to make fun of caravans and motorhomes too. So there's been several programs on. It's had a lot of airing to people as caravanning and motorhoming, but they do tend to make it all a bit of a joke. So some people see it and think, oh, this could be good, and others think, oh, if that's what it's about, we're not bothering.
Okay. Daniele said about no MT, said, I love UK. Okay. Well, my colleague Lorenzo Gnaccarini wrote directly in English the question, so it's so easy for me. Dear Andrew, visit Birmingham Fair in October 2019, and I saw that a lot of European manufacturers had a recreational vehicle with the right side door. What do English people think about this? Cioè, lui ha visitato il salone di Birmingham e ha visto che c'erano molti costruttori europei con la porta dall'altra parte rispetto a loro. Cosa pensi di questo? And the second question is, do they take them into consideration anyway? Cioè, le considerano lo stesso? Please.
It doesn't bother the majority of people if the door is on what we call the wrong side. People are quite happy to buy European with the door on the other side of the UK. So it doesn't put many people off at all. And that's on caravans and motorhomes.
Okay. Wow. Directly from Malta, Clavia, right, in English. So, but our caravan serviced each year by professional engineer. My first caravan, it was second-hand, was bought from Home, Crottingley. And on the A-frame, it has a sticker on its A-frame for every year it was serviced. Cioè, Clavia dice che lei ha comprato la sua prima caravan che era usata dal concessionario Home e che c'era l'elenco dei tagliandi fatti ogni anno. Well, but the service is not MOT, right?
No, the service is not an MOT. If you buy a new caravan as a car, it must be serviced every year for the warranty, but it is not compulsory. But many people have their caravan serviced. Hence, the dealerships have made quite a lot of money out of servicing and have grown considerably on servicing service departments, where 30 years ago servicing wasn't very popular, and in those days some caravanners would service their own caravans. Now they're getting too complicated to start servicing them yourself, and you invalidate your warranty.
Okay. Clavia again. Right. Since I have an English caravan, I find no problem regarding the door in Europe. Dice che da quando ha una caravan inglese non trova problemi con la porta in Europe. But, may I, Andrew, did you know I have a Jeep Grand Cherokee as car, but bought in London? That's it. The steering wheel is in the right position. That means on the right side, not on the left.
So you're driving a Jeep that is on our side.
Yes, in the right side, because remember,
on the right side. But
in the right side. Ok.
Right.
Perché no, gli ho ricordato che io ho la macchina col volante a destra che è dalla parte giusta. Because people don't know that there's a rule about the chevaliers, and the right side is on the right, not on the left. Perché la gente non sa che c'è una regola di cavalleria, per cui il volante deve stare a destra, non a sinistra. It's true. And I tow my caravan with a car with that hand drive e traino la roulotte col volante a destra in macchina.
going back again to sort of the 70s, lots of caravan manufacturers would make caravans for export and also sell that caravan on the UK market. So, because at that time they were selling more caravans for export and would not turn it around for the UK market. So the UK market had to have the export side door. The UK buyer had to have the door on the wrong side, as it were, with some of the manufacturers, because they were producing for export, but still supplied UK, but you had to have it with the export spec. But that practice died out in the mid to late 70s.
Great. Well, Andrew, the time is finished.
Yes.
But
sadly,
I'm sorry, but I have think is it possible? My pleasure is to have you again next Friday here, if it's possible.
Thank you.
Think if you have enough time, if you like it, if you want, and if you think it could be a good idea, next Friday we can have you on here at Dopo again.
That would be super. That's very kind, and thank all your watchers for listening, and also those that bought the book. A big thank you.
Okay, well, now we have the spot. Ciao a tutti, grazie a tutti di esserci stati. Grazie. Thank you. A big thank you to my teacher, Andrew Jenkinson. Thank you very much. Grazie, professore.
Thank you.
Grazie. Ciao, let's go with the...
Una puntata di Dopo il TG offerta da Adria Italia che vi saluta con un arrivederci alla prossima.